Good morning.
There's only two of us.
So somebody is missing this week from our episode. Kathy, we miss you.
Yeah.
Can't wait to have you back.
Hope you're suntanning on a beach somewhere in Manitoba.
Thank you. This is episode 15 that you're joining us for. I can't believe we've already had 15 episodes, so it's pretty exciting.
Yeah, sure is.
We're hoping out next week to have another YAAS member join us. So we'll see. We'll see how things go. Last week was truly an honor to have one of our YAAS members, Sophia, and we're hoping to have more of our youth join us.
That's right. It'll be exciting. So I'm going to start with an opening prayer this morning. Bonjour. Kanua biktish na kaz na me on moigan. I say make which for this beautiful day. Ja win mission nom gom ga gijagak. Jimano na na ga da wen daman. Jimano wabamang nichianish nabe. Jimano non dawag nichianish nabe. Jimano gaga non nag nichianish nabe. Shago Jimano wichiwag nichianish nabe. Migwich gizimanatu. I say miigwech for this beautiful day. It's a good one, and we'll be talking a little bit about all the implications of all this beauty and hot weather around safety issues today. So I'd like to go into, my name is Cheryl. I'm the knowledge keeper here at Manitoba Advocate for Children and Youth. Sorry about that. The land acknowledgement. The Manitoba Advocate for Children and Youth wish to acknowledge that we are located on the original lands of the Anishinaabe, Cree, Oji-Cree, Dakota, and Dene peoples, and the beautiful homeland of the MACY Nation.
And I'd just like to say good morning. And my name is John. I'm a Youth Engagement Coordinator here with MACY. I want to mention that any questions you may have, please leave comments. We will get to those questions and answer them as best we can and as soon as we can. Also, if you leave your name or an email, way to contact you, we would like to give away some MACY swag. We have the Got Rights t-shirts. We have Wavy Baby.
I found my pen.
The Rights pen. These pens are awesome.
Yeah, I have a blue pen too.
So just feel free. Again, leave a comment, question, anything you want. We will get to them. And yeah, I just want to also mention that later on we're going to be talking about a survey that we have going on for youth in Manitoba. It's very important. We've had a very good response so far from youth across Manitoba, and I'll talk a little bit more about it later, but please just stay tuned for that, because there is a link that we really want you guys, you youth watching, to click on and participate and give us your voice. That's the biggest thing. So I will pass it off to Cheryl.
Okay, so today we are talking about two different rights. The first right we are going to be talking about is right number 23. If you live with a disability, you have the right to special care and to be included in the community. So today we'll be talking a little bit about the different resources that we've found in the community. We've either had access to or we know about that they are. So we have not limited knowledge. So we're the ones that we found, these are the ones that we're going to be highlighting today. Please forgive us if we've missed anyone, and maybe contact us so we can update our resource base. It's always good to know what's going on, what's out there, and what's active. If you don't use it, because you don't know about it.
Yeah.
So it's important that we talk about living with disabilities and being included for any age. So there's a lot of children's agencies that deal with and all types of government. There's nonprofit, there's education, there's government agencies that have, and even in healthcare. So there's a lot out there. Do you want to put the sign up, and I'll talk a little bit about, this is the one that came to me. I just want to reach what they have. Some of the ones I have little notes beside. Community respite services since '84 have helped families and people with intellectual and physical disabilities by providing quality respite, fostering independence and participation within their communities. CRS is a participant and family-centered organization that strives to provide quality care. So that's a good one. Another one we have is Inspire Community Outreach. And they've been founded since October 2013 with the hopes to support communities in ways that have not yet been addressed by other services. So founder long for programs and education available to all families and organizations to encourage growth and overall well-being, specializing in adaptability and creating opportunity for youth to flourish and excel at their gifts. Programs like that just makes me feel hopeful that we are amplifying service and being able to touch on the rights that we have to be included in the community, to have that care that is so necessary. The other right that we're going to talk about later on, and number 3, top of the list, adults should make good decisions for you, especially for your protection and safety.
And I think Cheryl has a very good message for how that fits in that right.
Yeah, this one is around, I go out in the community and the hot weather I see, and I just want to reiterate it, that's important that no one be left out in the heat unattended, to make sure that the young children have hats and sunscreen, but also water. So if you're just popping into a place, please take your children with you. Your dogs, pets. Yeah. Lots of pets. I see cats, and it's so important to remember that when they're outside they need to have water. They also need to be able to cool down as well, so whether it be a swim, a little bit of water, or even taking them inside with you if that's possible, because it's so hot out right now. We really have to take care of our elderly. We also have to take care of our children, but everybody in general, including animals, have to have that. And right now there's lots of those how do you call them, not Mrs. Ox, but the biting flies.
Oh yes.
Yes, mosquitoes are bad for kids, but also those biting flies for the pets. So those really need to be making good decisions for us. That means, if you don't need to go out, stay in where it's cool, or stay home, just to be able to provide that safety. And hot weather drains me, so I can only imagine how babies and young children and pets feel when you're standing. And there is still quite a bit of lineups in phase 3, so we still have to manage all the societal responsibilities, shopping, lineups, going to the bank. I dread going to the bank. You have to get up pretty darn early to get out of the heat, but also the lineups.
Well, and I was telling Cheryl, after we had talked about what we want to talk about this week, and Cheryl mentioned talking about heat and safety, and she, just that day I actually was on social media and I saw a post, and it was a mother that had left her child in a car seat, windows rolled up, car not running, and ran into a store. Now maybe she was only going to be a couple minutes, maybe not. But I think the issue there that we need to think of as parents and adults, when you're thinking about protection and safety for youth and children, they're very innocent that way. It's up to us, right, to protect them and look after them, and leaving not just pets, but leaving children in a car,
or even outside in the yard.
Or even outside in the yard.
Kids want to be outside, but it's...
And I won't fault a parent for that, right? Like there's so much going on. And maybe some parents aren't aware. So if you are in care of a child, I think it's our responsibility to educate ourselves on some of these things, because if we're left for taking care of their protection and safety, then that's up to us to become those educated adults in their lives, and realize, again, leaving a kid in a car or outside without any cooling way for them to cool themselves is very, very dangerous. And I think of cars very specifically. If you were to sit in a car and it's 35 degrees out, just as an adult, go try it out see if you could do it for 5 minutes and see how hot it gets in there, just for a quick 5 minutes. And imagine being a young child strapped into a car seat, and just how horrible that would be. So even when you're thinking it's just real quick, I'm just going to run in the store 1 or 2 minutes, it's very hot and very dangerous.
So some of the other things I wanted to mention about protection and safety around being outside in hot weather, just remembering to put on sunscreen. That is such an important thing with the UV rays. I can just feel the humidity and get browner. So it's important to drink a lot of water, regardless, pet, child, or elder. it's very important to have water. The consumption of water helps to keep you going, and our brains, believe it or not, really desperately need that water. Sometimes our appetites are a little bit less. I'm starting to eat first thing in the morning, last thing at night. You know, having that little snacks in between. Heavy foods, not really wanting to cook right now. It's so hot.
Yes.
You know, one of the biggest things I find draining is when you come from, say, inside like an office, it's air conditioned, and then going outside, that it's almost like a punch in the gut.
Yeah.
Is what it feels like. So if I can feel it, I'm sure the elderly and I'm sure the youth feel it, especially small babies that can't verbalize yet.
Yeah.
So I say just be very cautious around taking them out in this extreme weather. One of the cultural teachings that I was able to see this week was the Thunderbirds. Oh my goodness, I was driving one night in a storm, and it was lightning. It was beautiful, but scary at the same time. It really reminds you that the Thunderbirds are there blessing us with that gift of water, because we do need water to have things grow. Strawberry season is upon us, folks. The strawberry teaching is about love and forgiveness, but it also comes in the time of death. It reminds us to be able to forgive and let that person to pass on in a good way, because they're no longer here with us in the physical realm, but the spiritual realm, we always carry them. So we have to be able to forgive whatever it is that whatever wrongs, or if there was an event, that power of forgiveness is so essential. And the strawberry teaches that about love. So when I go out picking strawberries with my family and my grandkids, I always tell them to look for, sometimes you see, someone just posted on Facebook a picture of a strawberry that was in the shape of a bear, and you could really see that it was in a bear. And then I always look for the hearts. How strawberries kind of grow, and they kind of look like a heart. So I like to, and they do call strawberries heart medicine. So that's one of the things that I'm looking forward to. I love berries. We grew up picking berries all our lives, making jams and ceremony. And yeah, so I'm really excited about the next couple of weeks. As hot as it is, we still go to the bush to get our berries and get ready. This time of year is the longest for us. So we try and get a lot of stuff in and done, even with COVID going on right now. I know people harvesting medicines, picking, also making time for swim and play in the water. So just to be careful and to make your offerings for that good passage with the waterways. So I think I've talked about number 3 and number 23. So we'll go on a little bit and I'll talk a little more.
I'm just going to point out this. So anybody that maybe is joining us for the first time, we talk about the UNCRC, so the United Nations Convention on the Rights of the Child. So what are these? There's a total of 42 articles or rights, as we call them. They're very important. Again, they're not even optional. There's no one right more important than the other. These 42 rights are for all children and youth. And if you want to see a copy, you can go to our website, manitobaadvocate.ca, under our resources. There's a printable version with child-friendly language of this poster, and I do recommend going over it with children and having it up, because children need to know their rights and need to know that their rights are being met, and understand that as adults we have these rights, or the youth have these rights, and we as adults have a responsibility to follow them and ensure that these things are being followed for kids, to ensure that they're living and thriving and having a good start and a good life. So it's very important that we check these out. So if you have time, please feel free. I will have links in the video description, some links for the disability services, as well as other various links. So please check those out as well. They are all right there ready for you to access. And yeah, we've talked about the adults should make good decisions for you. And the biggest thing we want to again talk about is for the disabilities, and we're talking about physical disabilities, intellectual disabilities. So if you live with a disability, you do have that right to special care and to be included in the community. And I think Cheryl did talk on that. It's inclusion. So you have to have accessibility. So if we're talking physical disabilities, there needs to be accessibility for somebody. And at children and youth, it's very important. Intellectual disabilities, when you look at things like you have autism and learning disabilities outside of that, you have a responsibility to ensure all children are included. As adults.
And that's so vast in services across the board, like in the home, healthcare, education, when you go into the community for entertainment or shopping. Accessibility is so important. We take it for granted, our own physical freedom and being able to, but there's a lot of services that are provided.
And the resources.
The resources that I have counted just on the resource sheet that we're going to provide today, there's 51, I'm so happy to say, in different categories and services provided across the province of Manitoba. So it's not just Winnipeg, it's everywhere. And I'm so proud to say that accessibility is now becoming a standard of care, which is leaning towards excellence. And I say thank you to each and every agency, every service provider, and family member that needs to use these services. So it's so very important to have.
It's not just for the children. So if you're a family that has a child with a disability, these services are there to help you. And whether it be respite services and just even education, it's about bringing support, and the government's responsibility to bring that support to the family and help that family help their child and ensure their child has a successful childhood. So
and provide a quality of life. So that's awesome to see that we have 51 today in resources, and they're available.
And these are just the ones we have. Right?
Yeah, there might be more.
And I think at the end of the day, if you're unsure, we're going to provide links, of course, to these services. But if you're unsure and you're wanting to find out more information, call our office, 1-800-263-7146. Our advocates are working, and they're here to help children, youth care providers, anybody that feels they need that assistance to find information. They'll help navigate you through kind of the waters to find where to go for these services. So even if they're not on the list we have, I guarantee you to call our advocates, and they will find the services and find out what best suits your child's needs.
That's right.
I do want to provide here, we have just a quick 5 of them. I just kind of picked them, just put them up on the screen here, and I'm going to provide all the links again in the video description. But again, these are some of the services and the website links you can go to get more information. The phone numbers are available there as well. So speaking of berries, photo of the week from one of our MACY staff is a bear.
And guess what he's looking for?
Berries.
Berries. So that just tells us that they're out there and they're ready. Like pretty soon, before you know it, it'll be blueberry, low bush, hazelnuts. There's lots of things. The bush is their garden. And I also remind people to remember when you're going into Mother Nature to forage the berries, also remember that there's animals. The animal kingdom is also, that's their backyard. That's their home. I can't stress that enough, that I know I wouldn't want people coming into my house and looking for berries, and so we have to be very mindful that the perspective of that we share the land, we share the resources, so the berries and all the medicines that are being foraged, to do it in a good way, a good kind way, so that we're helping, but we're also leaving enough for the actual inhabitants of the land, the animals. So I can't imagine what it's like to be in the bush as a bear with this hot weather, with the bugs galore. I'm not even going to mention the wood ticks. I have a thing for wood ticks, and I'm just not going to go there. But I respect them enough to acknowledge them. So. Yeah.
And you know what? I was talking with Cheryl too, because we've talked about it on previous episodes how the COVID and the lack of social outings for people. It seems like, especially recently, like Mother Nature is really showing us some different things, because the number of bears that are being spotted now, it just shows that the wildlife is coming back. So I think that's more important why we're looking at right number 3. And as an adult, you should make good decisions for the protection and safety of children. when you have animals like this roaming around, you have to teach children respect, right, of these animals.
And awareness. Provide that opportunity. I'm a big provider and promoter of land-based teachings. So we have always got opportunity to give thanks, to offer our tobacco to the water, to offer it to the bush before, and to pray. Like I teach my grandchildren, and they love smudging. It's so priceless to see them understanding at such a young age. And now the schools are doing it, the daycares, everybody is taking part in it, and it's beautiful. It's beautiful to see that our land-based teachings are so accessible now. That's what we need to have happen, so that when we go to the bush and we understand that that's somebody's home, that's part of our cycle of life, and it's beautiful. One of the other things I forgot to mention earlier about just understanding that when you are and you do have to be outside, be very aware by wearing a hat, drinking a lot of water, wearing sunscreen, or just a light shirt, and making sure that you know the difference between heat stroke and sunstroke, because one of them is very important, that you have a lot of water, and the other one is you will the recovery from, I believe it's sunstroke, is you need a dark, and you feel you don't need as much water. So it's very important to know that at the back of your mind, that if you do have, please seek medical attention.
Now I will ask, and kind of putting Cheryl on the spot here, but I know she can handle it. So when we were out medicine picking, fortunately a couple of weeks ago with our kids, I remember you mentioning about like a natural...
The poplar leaves. Yes. Yeah, the poplar dust on a tree. So sundancers get this lesson very quickly because they're on fasting terms when they're sundancing. But the poplar there, so they're shaking it. I always tell them to rub your hands, rub your face with the dust from the poplar leaves and the actual bark, because that is our natural sunscreen. That's a medicine. A lot of our medicines that we use every day and we take for granted come from our natural surroundings, and like our aspirin comes from so red willow. So we have a lot of medicines that we still use every day that help us, but to go against pharmacology is actually going back to traditional values and understanding how it plays a part in our everyday life. So yeah, I would drink some red willow tea as opposed to taking so it helps. It helps to know. I'm looking at a couple different teas to dry. So the flowers right now, as I'm looking for roots. There's chamomile, and I think there was chamomile and clover, red clover. I'm going to try and make into tea this year.
So see, there's lots to learn.
Yeah,
when
and everything that we have, you can, some of it's edible, some of it's dryable to make into teas for the winter. Add it to everything. Soup, chock full of our vitamins.
And I'll say for my own 6-year-old son, just from being around Cheryl and learning some of the stuff, it's amazing to see how he takes on a lot of the information, and he remembers it, and he'll remember things. I probably could have asked him about the sunscreen question, and he would have been able to tell me because I couldn't remember. So it's just amazing, like the little sponges when they're listening and the things they pick up.
The picture of Isabel leaning over to a tree, that was an elderberry. So once those white flowers come, we have elderberry, and elderberry is one of the superfoods, the so-called European superfoods. Like there's chaga, which we harvest here in Manitoba greatly. It's widely. People don't realize what we have for medicine in terms of being able to, and then going to a health food store and buying it. You go to the bush and get it for free. Yeah. So just that knowledge and being able to understand that our medicines have life and spirit to be able to help heal us if we ask for that.
And the one thing
whether it be in the language, but also in the preparation of how we store it.
The one thing I like about when you talk about those kind of things as well, when you're not going to a store, you know you're getting it from the land, so you know the land is taking care of you. And you're not getting any of the additives and all the extra things that are put into things, right?
Well, we do have a few things that we have to be careful around. Like our fish have some things going on with it right now in the fresh water our lakes. Like we just had that carp incident out in the South Basin of Lake Winnipeg, and that was very scary. But also our animals. Sometimes, if you know when you're field cleaning, sometimes you'll see spots, and it is something that you cannot have that animal. You cannot consume it, full of cancer. And there's certain things that you're looking for. So our elders are sharing that information with our hunters, and our communities are aware of how the environment is treating our animals and what they're eating.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we're looking. We see things in different communities about how to deal with stuff like that, like population of caribou as to moose. I don't know where they're at, but I know there's a lot of deer. Oh, I see so many baby deer as I'm driving around.
So I just want to mention, again, the listening tour. So we had the listening tour. We've talked about how, due to the pandemic, we had to obviously put that on hold for now. But what we were able to do is come up with an online survey. And this is very important because this is allowing youth to really use their voice. The survey takes 5 to 10 minutes. So please click on that link. I'll have it provided in the video description, and just go fill it out. Tell us the main things we're looking for in these questions are, the struggles that are facing youth in communities nowadays, what things are going right, and what services that are helping youth in communities today. And then for any of these issues that youth are facing, we want to hear a youth's perspective and voice on how we can solve those, how we can lobby the government to solve them, how we can just get assistance and create maybe new programs or new ways of doing things so that we're able to solve a lot of the issues that our youth are facing nowadays. So this is very, very important for any youth. Please fill this out. We've had a good response, but I think we can never have enough. We can never have enough youth voice, and because we had to put the listening tour on hold, this makes this survey even more important for us to get that information. So I'm just going to also provide our ManitobaAdvocate.ca website. We also have our phone number, 1-800-263-7146. We have our office here, 346 Portage, and then we have our office up in Thompson in the mall.
Thompson. City Center Mall.
Connect with us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter.
Smoke signal.
Really follow us on YouTube. We have a lot going on with our social media, and it's really great. A lot of useful information. So connect with us on those platforms. We're going to again share some information on resources currently available, and we're going to get more updating this list as things open up, because as things open up, more resources become available. And again, if you're ever unsure, call our office. That's the best thing I can really say.
That's right. And just have a conversation. We're willing to sit down and talk and listen about your community, about yourself. If you're interested in getting involved in some of our future initiatives like the Northern YAAS team, I'm looking to start going to communities, to meeting with youth, to see what they're interested in, what they're involved in, and if they want to amplify the rights of children through their voice as a young person. So I just wanted to give a shout out to the 3 youth that we met this week to be able to sit down and ask them some questions. And they were so good about getting up and going out in the hot day and being able to share a little bit of that information with us. Yeah. So it's so important that we have that dialogue. So if there's any youth that are interested, again, please let us know. We'd like to sit down and meet with you.
And how do you connect? Phone number. Definitely, if you're calling our office and you let them know, hey, heard about this YAAS and this Youth Ambassador Advisory
Cheryl
Squad.
and John or Kathy.
Call us and connect with us, because the more youth we have, the more voices we have, the louder we can be with those youth voices. Feel free to check out our youth videos that we have on our YouTube and on our Facebook. Some of our youth decided to pick certain rights that they felt were important to them. These videos, I think, are real amazing, and we're hoping to have some more being made too. So
we're getting some really good ideas formulated, and hopefully in the next coming weeks we'll have videos around medicines and ceremony stuff, but also amplifying each of the rights. We have 42, so we'd like to see each one of them in video form of some sort, maybe artwork, however that looks to a youth. We're willing to work with you on that.
And I think my goal now, the goal of this office as well, is for us to go into the communities and ask a youth, have you heard of your rights? And instead of being told no, which is pretty common, we want to be able to hear them say yes.
Yes,
and even be able to
that's
name
right.
some of them, because I think then that means we're reaching them, and we're doing our objective, and our goal is getting youth aware of their rights. And I think that's very special when we're getting these
that's
youth.
Right. Summertime's going to look a little different in terms of going out to different events and communities. I know the Aboriginal community, a lot of the powwows and treaty celebrations have been canceled.
Mm-hmm.
So we're looking at different ways. So I've always been a big looking at perspective, like how do we see things? You can still do things within your home and with your family.
Yes.
So in your communities, look around to see how you can be a part or support your community by staying in and being safe, not traveling, but also doing the COVID social distancing is always going to be a factor, I think. Now it's going to be one of our, I hate to say, new norms, but the hand washing and just being very careful about, if you're not feeling good, to isolate yourself.
So I guess that's it for this week. I just want to thank you for joining us again for episode 15. Next week we'll come to you with another discussion.
I think we're going to bring in a couple of youth.
We're hoping to have our youth back, and maybe we can even talk to our youth ambassadors and have them tell you a bit about what our youth ambassador team is, just so you can hear from a youth perspective. So.
Yeah, I think I might bring T and Bannock. Yeah, that's what we'll do. Miigwech, thanks for joining us.
Thank you.